All right, today, Friday, April 24th, we are going to read A Tree is a Plant and complete task number 5. So with day 5, we are going to add bark and trunk to our vocabulary words, and I'm going to read this story, ask you some questions, and then I'll show you task number 5 that you're going to be completing today. So, A Tree is a Plant by Clyde Robert Bulla, illustrated by Stacy Schuett. A tree is a plant. A tree is a plant. A tree is the biggest plant that grows. Most kinds of trees grow from seeds the way most small plants do. There are many kinds of trees. Here are a few of them. How many do you know? So this is a maple tree. This is a conifer, persimmon, palm tree, willow tree, lemon tree. So let's think about what the author just told us on this first page. Have you already learned some new things just from this page? Name one connection that you made between trees and other plants that we have read about. This tree grows in the country. It might grow in your yard too. Do you know what kind it is? This is an apple tree. This apple tree came from a seed. The seed was small. It grew inside an apple. Have you ever seen an apple seed? Ask an adult to help you cut an apple into 2. The seeds are in the center. They look like this. You all know what an apple seed looks like. We cut them out and counted them and weighed them and all sorts of things. So you know exactly what an apple seed looks like and how tiny it is. Most apple trees come from seeds that are planted. Sometimes an apple tree grows from a seed that falls to the ground. The wind blows leaves over the seed. The seed blows soil over the seed. All winter, the seed lies under the leaves and the soil. All winter, the seed lies under the ice and snow and is pushed into the ground. Spring comes, rain falls, the sun comes out and warms the earth, and the seed begins to grow. So what causes the seed to begin germinating? Be sure to use sentences that have your vocabulary words in them. At first, the young plant does not look like a tree. The tree is very small. It only has a stem with 2 leaves. It has no apples on it. A tree must grow up before it has apples on it. Each year the tree grows. It grows tall. In 7 years, it is so tall that you can stand under its branches. In the spring, there are blossoms on the tree. Spring is apple blossom time. 7 years for it to grow that big. And that's still not fully grown. The blossoms only last a few days. Then they fall to the ground. Now there are green leaves on the ground. Among the leaves there are small apples. The apples are where the blossoms were before. The apples are green and they are almost too small for you to see. The apples grow slowly. So why is it important for the apple blossoms to fall off of the tree? How is this similar to other plant life cycles? Make that connection with at least one other text that we've read so far. They grow all during the spring and the summer. In the fall, they are large and ripe. They are ready to eat. So the author says they are large and ripe. They are ready to eat. I wonder how to figure out what the author was referring to by they. What other word could we use to replace they in those sentences? They grow all during the spring and summer. What is growing all spring and summer? In the fall, they are large and ripe. So in the fall, what is large and ripe? What is ready to eat? So what could you replace that pronoun with? We can see the apples and the leaves on the branches. We can see the branches growing out of the trunk. We can see the trunk growing out of the ground. We can see the bark of the tree. The bark covers the branches and the trunk like a coat, but there is a part of the tree we cannot see. So, why is the bark an important structure of the tree? What does it do? We cannot see the roots. They are under the ground. Some of the roots are large. Some of them are as small as hairs. The roots grow like branches under the ground. The tree could not live without roots. Roots hold the trunk in the ground. Roots keep the tree from falling when the wind blows. Roots keep the rain from washing the tree out of the ground. So what have we learned about the tree's roots and how they help the tree survive and grow? Also, what makes the trunk? Oh, let me read one more page to you. Then I'll ask you that. Roots do something more. They take water from the ground. They carry the water into the trunk of the tree. The trunk carries the water to the branches, and the branches carry the water to the leaves. So you can see the arrows where all it is moving the water from. So now, based on the last 2 pages, what makes the trunk an important part of the tree? Use this illustration to support your answer. How do other parts of the tree support each other? Hundreds and hundreds of leaves grow on the branches. The leaves make food from air and water. They make food when the sun shines. The food goes into the branches. It goes into the trunk and roots. It goes to every part of the tree. So now it's showing you how the food moves from the leaves down through the tree. Fall comes and winter is near. The work of the leaves is over. The leaves turn yellow and brown. The leaves die and fall to the ground. Now the tree is bare. All winter it looks dead, but the tree is not dead. Under its coat of bark, the tree is alive. Spring comes again. Rain falls. The sun warms the earth, the tree blossoms, and new leaves grow. As long as it lives, the apple tree grows. As long as it lives, the apple tree blossoms in the spring. and apples grow on it. So we've talked about the life cycle of a plant. How does an apple tree follow the same type of life cycle? How do you know? Do you remember talking about the life cycle of an apple tree and a pumpkin vine? So we've talked about both of those back closer to October in the fall. So think back to that life cycle. How is that and the life cycle of other plants the same? When do you like apple trees best? In spring, when they are covered with blossoms. In summer, when they are covered with leaves. In winter, when they are bare. Or in the fall, when they are covered with apples. So, using some complete sentences, tell someone in your family, explain how a tree's structure helps it grow and survive. Use your vocabulary that we've been learning about. And then based on the reading and the illustrations in the book, who needs trees? Why do they need trees? So our task today is task number 5. And it's really hard to read the directions because I drew a really big picture. But the directions say, World News Kids magazine has contacted you to do a feature article about trees. They want you to describe how the structures of a tree work together to help it survive. In your article, be sure to name the topic, supply facts, a sense of closure, and vocabulary. And then it also says include a detailed illustration of a tree and label its structures. So on this page, that's what I did. This is my illustration, and I labeled the structures of that tree. And then you're going to flip over, and that's where you're going to write your daily task 5 article. So you can see I showed the ground level and then the roots underground and then the trunk of the tree with the bark covering it, the branches, and then the blossoms. And then I pointed to the leaves. I didn't draw leaves, I kind of just squiggled around, but all the greenery would be the leaves. And then my article says, trees are plants and have parts that work together to help them live. The roots of a tree hold it in the ground and keep it safe from the weather. The roots bring water to the trunk. The trunk carries water to the branches. The branches carry water to the leaves. The leaves make food for the tree from water, air, and the sun. The bark covers the trunk and branches to protect it. The blossoms help the tree make seeds to make new trees. The tree has parts that work together to help it live. So write your article about trees and their structures and make sure to draw your illustration. If you all have any questions about this activity, let me know how I can help.